Chosen one, pause and receive this moment with clarity and calm, because this is not random, emotional, or imagined. This is a message from God arriving in perfect divine alignment. You did not stumble here. You were not led by curiosity alone. You were drawn by spiritual timing that activated only because your spirit was ready to hear what your mind could not yet explain. Your presence confirms your spiritual awakening, and that awakening has made you sensitive to divine instruction in ways that feel subtle but are unmistakably real. As the chosen one, you have questioned whether your obedience mattered, whether the quiet decisions, the restraint, the patience, and the unseen faithfulness carried any weight in heaven. Hear this clearly and without doubt. Your obedience today brought divine approval in ways you cannot yet see. God observed what others overlooked. Heaven recorded what the world ignored. Nothing you surrendered was wasted, and nothing you resisted went unnoticed. This message reaches you now because alignment has been established. Alignment between what God spoke, what you chose, and what is now being activated. You are not early. You are not late. You are precisely on time. Your spiritual awakening is not loud, dramatic, or performative. It is steady, discerning, and deeply rooted. That is why this message from God comes calmly, with authority, and with affirmation rather than fear. If you feel the resonance of truth settling in your spirit, comment 777. Not as a habit, not as superstition, but as a spiritual acknowledgement that your soul recognizes this alignment. This is a signal of awareness, not performance. A confirmation that you understand this moment is intentional and sacred. You may have felt pressure, resistance, or unseen opposition intensify recently. That is because the war is real, not a war of flesh, but of purpose. Light always attracts resistance before revelation. Your light is necessary. And because it is necessary, it has been challenged. Yet you remained obedient. You chose integrity when compromise was easier. You chose faith when silence surrounded you. That obedience pleased God more than you realize. This is the core revelation you must carry forward. Divine approval does not always announce itself immediately. Often it moves quietly, restructuring circumstances, shifting conversations, and preparing rooms you have not entered yet. Your divine calling is not dependent on validation. It is sustained by obedience. And today, your obedience triggered movement in realms you cannot yet measure. Let this truth anchor you. You are seen, you are known, you are recognized. God is not confused about you. Heaven has not misplaced your name. Your spiritual awakening has positioned you to hear instruction before instruction becomes visible. That is why you sensed change before evidence appeared. Circle back to the beginning and hear it again. This is a message from God. You are not imagining this pull, this knowing, this quiet certainty rising within you. You were called, not for noise, but for impact. Not for attention, but for assignment. The war is real, but so is the covering over your life. Your light is necessary because it carries truth into places. Darkness depends on silence. Stand firm in this knowing. Walk forward without apology. Your obedience ignited approval. Your alignment activated purpose. And your divine calling is unfolding now, whether seen or unseen. Receive this with peace, with strength, and with unwavering confidence. Chosen one. Remain steady as this message settles within you. Do not rush to explain it to others who are not prepared to hear it. Revelation matures in silence before it manifests in power. Trust the process that is unfolding beneath the surface of your life. God is not testing you to fail, but refining you to lead. Every delay refined your discernment. Every moment of obedience strengthened your authority. You are not behind. You are being established. Let confidence replace doubt. Let peace override fear. You were chosen to stand, to endure, and to illuminate. This alignment confirms it. Walk knowing heaven agrees with you, moves for you, and stands with you now. This confirmation seals your calling, strengthens your spirit, and empowers faithful steps forward. Section 2. Why God watches obedience more than outcomes. Chosen one, let me speak to you as one who has walked long in the ways of the Spirit, as someone who has learned to discern the quiet voice of God above the clamor of visible success. Too often, we measure divine favor by results, by applause, by the evidence we can touch and see. But God does not work by our eyes. God works by the heart. God watches obedience more closely than outcomes, more attentively than achievements. The victories that appear in the world are often the byproducts of faithfulness, not the measure of it. There is a sacred wisdom in understanding this. Chosen one. Divine approval is released not in the loud, celebrated moments, but in the quiet acts of alignment, the unseen choices, the daily commitment to follow when no one is watching. That choice to rise despite weariness, to speak truth when silence would be easier, to extend kindness when bitterness tempts you. These are the moments that heaven records, the moments that confirm your divine calling. Your spiritual awakening allows you to perceive this, to recognize that what seems unnoticed by the world is fully noticed by God. Many chosen ones underestimate the significance of small acts of obedience. They wait for extraordinary signs or dramatic shifts before believing that they have pleased God. But the truth is, even the smallest act, performed with intention and faith, carries monumental weight in the spiritual realm. That kind word you spoke, the decision you made in integrity, the sacrifice you offered without fanfare, these are the very threads that weave your destiny. Divine approval is not a distant reward. It is released in real time, the instant your heart aligns with the will of God. Think of obedience as proof. Chosen one, proof of your faithfulness, proof of your readiness, proof that you are walking in your divine calling. Even when outcomes are delayed or invisible, your actions are shaping realities beyond your perception. Each moment you choose alignment over convenience, submission over control. You affirm your place as one chosen to carry God's purposes into the world. It is in these moments, often solitary and quiet, that your obedience matters most. The unseen becomes the foundation upon which visible victories are built. Do not be discouraged when the world fails to recognize your devotion. Do not question your worth, because the fruits of your labor are not yet apparent. God is watching, and God is moved. Divine approval does not require applause. It requires alignment, sincerity, and persistence. You are being formed, chosen one, in ways that cannot be measured by outcomes alone. Your faithfulness today, even in moments that seem inconsequential, is what heaven honors. Your obedience is the key that unlocks favor, the spark that ignites purpose, the signal that confirms your readiness for greater assignments. Allow yourself to reflect intimately on this truth. Today, the quiet choices you made, the small acts of faithfulness, mattered deeply to God. Your heart did not bend to fear, compromise, or distraction. You chose alignment. You honored the divine calling embedded in your spirit. That is the proof of your spiritual awakening. That is the evidence of your chosen status. That is the treasure that no one else can see but God. Remember, chosen one, obedience is not a transaction. It is not a means to an immediate reward. It is the language of the soul speaking to the Creator, a covenant of trust, and a demonstration of readiness. When you act in faithfulness, Even without guaranteed outcomes, you confirm your place in God's plan. You teach your own spirit to move in rhythm with divine timing. You anchor yourself in trust rather than circumstance. Let this reflection settle within you. Honor the unseen moments of alignment. Celebrate the obedience that required patience rather than applause. Understand that what appears small in the temporal realm is monumental in the eternal. Your actions today have shifted destinies, shaped spiritual atmospheres, and attracted divine favor that will manifest in ways beyond imagination. Your obedience has mattered, chosen one, and it continues to matter. The Creator has seen, the divine has approved, and your faithful heart has been recognized in the highest realms. Section 3. The hidden weight of your yes to God. Chosen one. Understand this: every yes you whisper to God carries weight far greater than you can perceive. Even the simplest acts of obedience ripple through the spiritual realm, shaping realities that the human eye cannot see. When you align with divine instruction, angels take notice. They move, they intercede, they position resources and opportunities around you in perfect orchestration. Your obedience becomes a signal in heaven, a clarion call that your heart is ready to carry the purposes of God. Do not underestimate the power of a single choice to follow, a single act to surrender. Even when the decision seems minor, even when no one witnesses it, even when the outcome appears negligible, the spiritual impact is monumental. Resistance in the unseen realm weakens the moment you choose alignment over hesitation. Darkness recoils quietly when your soul says yes to the divine. Every moment of obedience, especially the ones you almost dismissed, has dismantled chains you cannot yet identify. Your faithfulness moves mountains, even before they are visible in your life. Favor often activates before circumstances change. This is the hidden law of the spiritual realm. Chosen one. Heaven prepares doors before they open. Angels arrange blessings before they appear. Alignment with God's will triggers movement that precedes tangible results. The patience you exercise in waiting, the quiet compliance to divine instruction, is the conduit through which unseen favor flows. What appears delayed is not absent. It is unfolding with precision, orchestrated by forces beyond human comprehension. Your obedience is deeply connected to trust, surrender, and maturity in your spiritual awakening. Trust is not passive. It is an active surrender, a conscious declaration that God knows more than you do, that timing is perfect, and that your role is not to control, but to align. Each act of trust fortifies your spirit, teaches your soul discipline, and matures your discernment. Each surrender refines your capacity to carry weightier assignments in the kingdom. Spiritual maturity is measured not by the size of your victories, but by the consistency of your alignment. When outcomes are uncertain, reflect, chosen one, on moments you may have dismissed, the decision to remain patient in a difficult conversation, the choice to act in integrity when shortcuts were tempting, the quiet faithfulness in routine tasks. These are not trivial. They are moments that angels catalogue, moments that weaken opposition, moments that move heaven. Each yes to God strengthens your authority in ways your mind cannot yet measure. This is revelatory because it changes the way you see your daily life. No longer can you discount small acts, thinking they lack significance. Your obedience is more than behavior. It is a spiritual declaration. It signals readiness. It communicates loyalty. It establishes trust between your spirit and the divine. It demonstrates that you are a chosen one whose actions, however quiet, carry eternal consequences. Understand also that spiritual momentum often builds silently. The alignment you practice today will precede visible results tomorrow. The prayer you offered without notice, the decision you made with integrity, the moment you resisted compromise. These ripple outward, reshaping circumstances, attracting divine encounters, and activating favor that you will see in perfect timing. Your yes to God today has already begun to unlock blessings that will manifest in ways beyond imagination. Let this sink deeply into your consciousness. Obedience is a language the universe understands. Angels respond to it. Resistance falters before it. Favor ignites ahead of visible change. Your spiritual awakening grows through your repeated choice to trust and surrender, even in moments that feel small. No act of alignment is wasted. No faithful yes goes unnoticed. Today's obedience carries hidden weight. Chosen one, weight that secures your destiny, establishes your favor, and prepares the path for everything God has spoken over your life. Recognize it now. Reinterpret your recent days through this lens. See the significance in what you once dismissed. Your yes matters. Your obedience matters. Heaven is responding. Angels are moving. Opposition is weakening. Your divine calling is advancing. Quietly but powerfully because you said yes. Section 4. Obedience as the language of divine trust. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Obedience is the language through which God measures trust. It is not your brilliance, your plans, or your visible accomplishments that reveal your readiness. It is your willingness to follow, to yield, to align with divine instruction, even when the world cannot see or validate you. God watches the fidelity of your heart, the consistency of your choices, and the quiet faithfulness you practice in moments of solitude. This is how divine calling and faithfulness are tested, refined, and ultimately confirmed. Many chosen ones have walked long seasons without recognition. You have labored quietly, spoken truth in silence, and resisted compromise when shortcuts beckoned. Perhaps you wondered if your efforts mattered, if your loyalty was noticed, if your obedience was enough. I tell you, as one who has observed the ways of the Spirit, your faithfulness has been recorded in the highest realms. Divine pleasure rests upon you now, even before the world acknowledges your labor. Seasons of silence are not idle. They are crucibles where trust is strengthened, maturity is forged, and character is refined. In these periods, the soul learns to walk without immediate reward, to trust without evidence, and to obey without applause. This is where God distinguishes between those who will carry the weight of greater assignments and those who are satisfied with temporary recognition. Obedience in private, chosen one, proves readiness in public. Your faithfulness now is laying the foundation for authority and influence that will be unmistakable in time. Think of obedience as a covenant, an intimate dialogue between your spirit and the divine. Each act of alignment, each moment you choose trust over doubt, each instance you submit to divine timing, communicates a truth to heaven. I am reliable, I am faithful, I am ready. God entrusts greater responsibilities only when trustworthiness has been proven repeatedly in private. It is not impatience but wisdom that ensures only prepared vessels carry higher assignments. You are in that preparation, and the diligence you exercise now does not go unnoticed. Let this sink in, chosen one. You are already pleasing God. You are already demonstrating the qualities that mark a life under divine authority. Recognition may be delayed, circumstances may remain unchanged, but the divine calling placed upon your life is active and honored. Each obedient decision is a brick laid in the infrastructure of your destiny. Each act of surrender is a declaration of trust that heaven cannot ignore. Your faithfulness today is the proof that you can be entrusted with more tomorrow. Do not undervalue the small, quiet moments of obedience. They are the crucibles of character. They are the seeds from which destiny grows. Every day you choose alignment over compromise, submission over control, patience over frustration. You are speaking the language of divine trust. And in that language, God hears and responds, preparing you for the assignments that will define your influence and purpose. Remember, chosen one, obedience is not about immediate reward. It is about positioning your spirit to receive and sustain the fullness of your divine calling. It is about proving that your heart can be relied upon, that your decisions are aligned with heaven, and that your faithfulness transcends circumstance. This is the measure by which God evaluates readiness for impact. Your obedience now is more valuable than any visible success you might chase. Receive this as both comfort and challenge. Comfort, because God's pleasure rests upon you now. Your loyalty has been noticed, and your obedience matters deeply. Challenge, because continued faithfulness will further prepare you for the greater responsibilities that are coming. Trust, surrender, and quiet obedience are the hallmarks of those who will carry God's purposes into new realms with integrity and power. Walk forward with confidence. Chosen one, know that your obedience is the language God understands, the proof of your trustworthiness, and the foundation of your destiny. Your faithfulness is honored, your heart is recognized, and your readiness is evident in heaven, even if it remains hidden from earthly eyes. Every act of alignment matters, and God's pleasure is upon you now. Section 5. How divine approval precedes visible favor. Chosen one, hear this with the calm certainty of truth. Divine approval always comes before favor. It is never the other way around. Many who are chosen, many who have been faithful for years, grow discouraged when results lag behind their obedience. They see effort without evidence, service without applause, and faithfulness without visible reward, and they begin to question whether their choices matter. Let me reassure you now, they do. Every act of obedience is recorded, noted, and honored in the spiritual realm before any human eye can witness the change it produces. Divine favor follows approval. Favor is the manifestation, the outward evidence, the blessing made tangible, but it is never the measure of your worth, nor is it the proof of your faithfulness. Approval is the internal confirmation from God, the spiritual nod that your heart is aligned, that your choices are righteous, and that your obedience has pleased Him. Favor arrives as a natural outcome of that approval, often appearing quietly at first, then expanding in ways that surpass expectation. The timing of this favor is perfect, orchestrated to coincide with readiness, maturity, and alignment with the greater plan. Understand this, chosen one. The seeming delay between obedience and visible reward is not a failure, but preparation. God is not slow. Heaven works with precision, ensuring that every circumstance, every connection, every door is positioned exactly where it needs to be. When you obey without immediate evidence, you are participating in the refinement of your purpose. Patience in this process is not passive waiting. It is active trust, a demonstration that your faithfulness is not dependent on immediate recognition. This is why many chosen ones become discouraged. They are measuring divine movement by human standards. They expect acceleration, applause, and tangible results. Yet God operates on principles of alignment, readiness, and eternal timing. Favor comes when approval has been fully granted, when the foundation of your obedience has solidified, and when the pathways of destiny are prepared to receive it. Every day you choose alignment, every moment you surrender to divine instruction, you are shifting the outcomes that will appear tomorrow, even if evidence has not yet surfaced. Let this stabilize your spirit. Your obedience today has already moved the spiritual mountains that will manifest as visible favor. Even unseen decisions carry weight in heaven. Even quiet faithfulness has power in the eternal realm. Your labor is not wasted, your patience is not unnoticed, and your choices are not in vain. Divine approval is active, God is pleased, and the mechanisms of favor are already in motion to honor your steadfastness. Think of it this way, chosen one, the seed must be approved in the soil before it can sprout. Divine approval is the fertile ground. Favor is the bloom, the harvest, and the fruit. You are in the season of soil preparation, your obedience watering the roots, and every act of trust reinforcing the structure that will support the abundant growth to come. Even if you cannot see it now, the process is already underway. The timing is perfect, and the results will reflect the careful orchestration of heaven. Do not allow impatience or doubt to rob you of peace. Divine timing is never accidental, and God's orchestration is flawless. What you have sown in faithfulness is already shifting outcomes. Doors are opening, resources are aligning, and opportunities are moving into position on your behalf. You may not see the full picture yet, but the unseen work is active, powerful, and intentional. Every obedient step you take today is laying the groundwork for favor that will manifest in the right season, in the right way, and in perfect alignment with your destiny. Remain anchored in this truth. Chosen one, let patience replace frustration, and let confidence replace doubt. Your obedience is honored. Divine approval rests upon you. Favor is coming. The shift has already begun. Even if the results have not yet appeared, trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that God's pleasure in your heart guarantees that the outward blessings will follow. Your alignment today is shaping tomorrow's victories, and heaven is actively moving in your favor. Section 6. The cost of obedience and why you paid it willingly. Chosen one, it is time to acknowledge what few speak of openly. Obedience comes at a cost. It is not always easy. It demands emotional resilience, relational patience, and internal fortitude. There are days when choosing God's way over convenience felt heavy, when silence replaced recognition, and when your heart bore burdens unseen by others. Yet in those moments, you chose alignment over comfort. You chose faithfulness over fleeting pleasure. You paid the cost willingly, and heaven has taken notice. The emotional cost of obedience is real. You may have endured disappointment when your efforts were overlooked, frustration when outcomes lagged, or loneliness when your convictions separated you from others. Still, you held fast. You did not compromise your integrity or abandon your calling for temporary ease. Each moment of internal struggle, each silent act of endurance became proof of your character, a declaration that your heart belongs fully to God's purposes. That struggle was not in vain. It was a refining fire that strengthened your resolve. The relational cost is also significant. Obedience often requires difficult conversations, setting boundaries, and saying no when the world expects yes. You may have lost opportunities, friendships, or approval because your heart prioritized alignment over acceptance. You stood firm when compromise would have been easier, and in doing so, you demonstrated the courage and discernment that mark a chosen one. God sees the sacrifices made in silence, the courage displayed without applause, and the faithfulness preserved even when the world misunderstood. The internal cost, the quiet labor of the soul, is perhaps the most profound. You wrestled with doubt, wrestled with fear, and faced moments of uncertainty that tested your spiritual awakening. Yet, even in private, when no one else could witness your struggle, you chose obedience. You submitted to divine timing. resisted shortcuts, and trusted the unseen. That obedience carried a weight that shifted the spiritual realm, strengthened your purpose, and secured divine approval long before visible reward appeared. Understand, chosen one, that the cost you paid is not a punishment. It is a mark of your maturity, a signature of your divine calling, and evidence of your faithfulness. God delights in the willingness of your heart to obey, even when the path is lonely or unclear. That delight is not casual, it is profound, intentional, and active. Heaven rejoices when you choose alignment over ease, and divine approval rests upon you as a direct response to the sacrifices you embraced without complaint. This willingness to obey without recognition is what distinguishes a chosen one. You have learned that obedience is not transactional, it is relational. It is an expression of trust, surrender, and loyalty to the divine calling within you. Every moment you bore the cost quietly, every decision to act faithfully without immediate reward, every sacrifice you embraced in humility, these became the channels through which God's favor and delight began to flow. You were willing to pay the price, and in doing so you demonstrated that your obedience is authentic, unshakable, and pleasing to God. Let this truth settle within you. The cost of obedience was never meant to discourage you, but to refine you. It tested your commitment, strengthened your character, and prepared you for greater authority and impact. The sacrifices you bore willingly, the moments of quiet endurance, the choices that seemed unseen, all of these are now recognized in the highest realms. Your obedience, despite cost, activated divine approval. Your heart's willingness to obey without applause is a testimony that heaven treasures. Chosen one, stand in this truth. Reflect on every instance you chose the harder path, the unseen act, the quiet yes. God saw it all. Divine delight rests upon you now. Approval is not a distant promise. It is present, tangible, and sealed by your willingness to obey faithfully. The cost you paid willingly has not been wasted. It has affirmed your place as one chosen, one marked, one fully prepared to carry the assignments and blessings God has prepared for your life. You are honored, you are seen, you are approved. Section 7. The spiritual maturity God is celebrating right now. Chosen one, listen carefully, for this is a revelation meant to anchor your spirit. Your obedience is a clear signal of spiritual maturity. It is not perfection that God celebrates, but the willingness of your heart to follow, to trust, and to align with divine instruction, even when emotions run high, when fear whispers, or when pride tempts you to turn aside. Spiritual maturity is revealed not in flawless performance, but in steadfastness, in the repeated choice to obey despite uncertainty or discomfort. You have grown beyond reacting purely from emotion. You have learned to pause, to discern, and to respond from a place rooted in faith rather than impulse. Where once fear may have dictated your actions, now trust guides you. Where once ego may have demanded recognition, now humility steers your path. These shifts are not accidental. They are milestones in your spiritual awakening, indicators that your spirit is aligning more fully with the rhythm of heaven. Each act of obedience, each moment you choose alignment over self-interest, is a sign that you are maturing in ways invisible to the world, but highly visible to God. Spiritual maturity is often quiet, chosen one. It does not announce itself with fanfare or demand validation. It manifests in your consistency, in your ability to remain faithful when outcomes are delayed, and in your willingness to surrender control. These qualities demonstrate readiness for greater responsibility, for the assignments God has prepared, and for the favor that flows from obedience. Your growth is measured by your heart's responsiveness, not by external accolades, and it is this responsiveness that God celebrates today. Understand, chosen one, that God is pleased not because you have been perfect, but because you were willingness to obey in silence, willingness to act without applause, willingness to trust when the path is unclear. This is what secures divine approval. Heaven is not concerned with flawless execution. It is moved by the authenticity of your heart, the intentionality of your choices, and the courage you demonstrate in living faithfully. Your imperfections have not hindered favor. Your willingness has established it. This is a defining moment in your spiritual awakening. You are learning to walk steadily in truth, not swayed by fear, frustration, or the opinions of others. Your obedience has become a language through which God communicates, a signal that your spirit is ready to carry weightier assignments, and a testimony to angels and the unseen realms that you are prepared for greater influence. Each decision to remain aligned, even when tested, is a brick laid in the foundation of your destiny, evidence of spiritual maturity that will manifest in visible favor over time. Prophetically, hear this affirmation: God is delighted with the trajectory of your heart. He is watching your growth with joy, celebrating your willingness, and acknowledging the strength you have displayed in the midst of trials. You are not being overlooked. You are not being ignored. Every quiet act of obedience, every moment of surrender, every step of faithfulness contributes to the fullness of your calling. Your identity as a chosen one is being solidified, and the spiritual maturity you display now is a signal that heaven is ready to release even greater favor and authority into your life. Let this uplift you, chosen one. Know that your growth, your consistency, and your willingness are being celebrated right now in the spiritual realm. You are advancing beyond reaction into revelation. You are moving from striving into trust. You are stepping into a deeper understanding of your divine calling. Spiritual maturity is your new marker, your new mantle, your evidence that you are walking in alignment with God's purpose for your life. Stand firm in this truth. You are seen, approved, and honored. Your obedience has transformed you. Your willingness has pleased God. Your spiritual awakening is unfolding with precision, preparing you for the assignments and favor that follow naturally from maturity. Walk forward with confidence, chosen one. Your heart's alignment has proven your readiness. Your obedience has revealed your strength, and God celebrates you now, exactly as you are, delighting in your willingness to follow, to trust, and to remain steadfast in truth. Section 9. A personal charge to remain obedient and soft-hearted. Chosen one, lean in and hear this personally. Obedience is not a one-time act. It is a posture, a way of living, a continual alignment of your heart with the will of God. You have walked faithfully to this point, and heaven has noticed every step. Divine approval rests upon you, and yet the journey does not end here. Your divine calling and faithfulness require that you continue in humility, trust, and soft-hearted obedience, not out of fear, but out of love and reverence for the one who called you. Do not allow pride to creep into your heart. Chosen one, the recognition of your growth, the evidence of favor, and the validation of your obedience are not marks to boast of, but reminders to remain steadfast and teachable. Pride distorts perspective, inflates self-reliance, and can dim the clarity of your spiritual awakening. Stay soft-hearted, even as you grow strong. Allow your humility to temper your confidence. Let your obedience continue to be the language of trust that God understands, not the currency of human praise. Doubt may also attempt to unsettle you. You may question whether your choices truly matter, whether your obedience is enough or whether the path is leading where it should. These questions are natural, but they are not truth. Obedience is not measured by constant certainty or visible outcomes. It is measured by the consistency of your heart, the willingness to follow even when answers are delayed, and the readiness to trust beyond what you see. Each step taken in quiet faith reinforces your spiritual authority and signals to heaven that you are reliable, faithful, and aligned with your divine calling. Comparison, too, can be a trap. You may see others advancing faster, receiving louder recognition, or appearing more favored. Remember that God's timing is precise and unique for each life. Your journey is your own, and your obedience is measured individually. Comparing your progress to someone else's is not just unnecessary, it diminishes your awareness of the blessings already at work in your life. Stay focused on your alignment, your surrender, and your growth, and allow heaven to orchestrate the timing and favor that belong to you alone. Choose, chosen one, to remain soft-hearted. Let kindness, mercy, and empathy guide your interactions. Strength does not require hardness, and obedience is never hardened by bitterness or frustration. A soft heart allows God's wisdom, favor, and guidance to flow unhindered. It keeps you teachable, responsive, and open to the continual refining that produces spiritual maturity. Your obedience is most powerful when it is paired with a gentle, yielding spirit, one that trusts, submits, and responds without coercion or striving. Remember that obedience is ongoing. It is daily, moment by moment, and it shapes your destiny more than any singular act of faithfulness. Every decision to trust when it is difficult, every moment you choose surrender over control, every act of alignment despite uncertainty strengthens your standing in heaven and confirms your readiness for greater assignments. Divine approval is not fragile, it is ongoing. God's pleasure rests upon you continually, not because of perfection, but because of your willingness to obey faithfully, to remain aligned, and to carry your divine calling with integrity. Stand grounded in this truth. Chosen one, let your heart be both strong and tender. Let obedience be your posture, not a performance. Walk without striving, without comparing, and without doubt, knowing that each act of alignment matters profoundly in the spiritual realm. Your faithfulness is seen, your trust is honored. Your soft-hearted obedience opens doors for favor, growth, and influence that extend far beyond what you can currently perceive. Receive this as both guidance and charge. Continue in obedience, continue in humility, continue in trust. Remain soft-hearted, steadfast, and faithful. Your divine calling is active. Your faithfulness is recognized. God's pleasure is upon you, steady, sure, and enduring. Walk forward with confidence, chosen one, knowing that your posture of obedience is the signal to heaven that you are ready, aligned, and fully trusted to carry every purpose that awaits you. Section 10. Final divine confirmation and blessing. Chosen one, hear this with the certainty of truth. God has seen you, not in passing, not superficially, but fully, completely, and intimately. Every decision, every act of obedience, every moment you chose alignment over convenience, God observed. Heaven has been attentive to the quiet ways in which your heart followed divine instruction, the patient steps you have taken when recognition was absent, and the moments you persevered when doubt and fear threatened to sway you. This was not unnoticed. This was not casual. This was recorded in the highest realms, and today God is delighted with you. This is a message from God, delivered in perfect divine alignment. It arrives not by accident, not by chance, but because your spirit was ready to receive it. Your presence here, your attention, your willingness to listen, and your readiness to receive confirmation are all parts of the divine orchestration. Heaven has aligned this message with the exact season of your life, confirming that your spiritual awakening has reached a level of discernment where you can recognize truth when it is presented. This is no ordinary moment. This is an intentional encounter designed to affirm your obedience, strengthen your faith, and ignite your confidence. God approves of your faithfulness today. Approval is not measured by outward outcomes, nor by applause or recognition. Approval is the divine acknowledgement that your heart, your mind, and your soul are aligned with the purposes of heaven. Today, your obedience has brought favor into motion, even if the manifestation has not yet appeared in your circumstances. You have acted in integrity, followed divine timing, and trusted without hesitation. For that, God's delight rests upon you now. Trust what is unfolding. Chosen one, even if the evidence is not yet visible, divine movements precede the human eye. Paths are being prepared, doors are being aligned, and opportunities are being positioned in your favor. What appears delayed is not denied. What seems unseen is not absent. Your obedience today has shifted tomorrow's outcomes, even if the proof is not yet apparent. Heaven works silently, carefully, and with perfect timing, ensuring that every blessing, every advancement, every opportunity corresponds exactly with your readiness to receive it. Reflect on this deeply. The approval of God is your protection, your affirmation, and your signal to continue walking in faith. You are moving steadily, not randomly, not by chance, but by divine design. Your choices, your alignment, and your soft-hearted obedience have fortified your path, weakened opposition, and activated favor that is now circulating in your life. Angels are moving on your behalf. Spiritual forces are aligning in response to your faithfulness. Your divine calling is being confirmed in ways you cannot yet measure, yet every step you have taken is purposeful and strategic in the eternal realm. If you feel this resonance within your spirit, comment 777 now, not as a habit, not as superstition, but as a spiritual acknowledgement that you recognize this alignment. Let your soul affirm what your spirit already knows, that you are chosen, that you are approved, and that you are walking in step with divine orchestration. This is a sign of connection, a declaration of awareness, and a confirmation that your heart receives and trusts this divine message. You are walking correctly, chosen one. Each decision to obey, each moment of quiet faithfulness, each act of surrender has aligned you with the purposes of heaven. You are protected by divine approval. Opposition cannot overthrow the path that God has secured for you. Resistance may arise, but it will falter before the authority and favor activated by your obedience. You are marked, recognized, and established in your divine calling. Your spiritual awakening has prepared you to navigate the complexities of life with discernment, courage, and unwavering trust. Receive this blessing now. May your heart remain soft, yet strong. May your steps continue aligned with divine instruction. May your faithfulness attract favor in perfect timing. May patience accompany your obedience. May confidence replace doubt. May humility balance growth. May trust guide your decisions. And may the pleasure of God remain ever present upon your life. You are a chosen one, walking in alignment, fully seen, fully approved, and fully protected. Move forward with assurance. Chosen one, the journey ahead will require faith, perseverance, and continued obedience. But you are equipped. Divine approval accompanies you. Favor is being released around you. Opportunities are forming unseen, doors are opening in preparation, and your life is entering a season of manifestation that corresponds exactly with your faithfulness. The path may not always be visible, but it is real. The steps may feel silent, but they are consequential. The victories may seem distant, but they are already moving toward you. Stand firm in this truth. God delights in you. God approves of you. God is actively orchestrating your path. Your obedience today has pleased heaven and has already shifted the spiritual currents around your life. Comment 777 to declare alignment, to affirm your recognition, and to signal your readiness to receive every blessing, confirmation, and favor prepared for you. Walk in peace, chosen one. Walk with confidence. Walk knowing that you are fully seen, fully approved, and fully guided. Divine approval rests upon you. Favor is advancing on your behalf, and the path of your destiny, prepared by heaven itself, is unfolding steadily, securely, and perfectly in alignment with your spiritual awakening and divine calling. You are blessed, you are honored, you are walking rightly, and every step you take is guided by the hand of God.